Hey family, welcome to a quick episode of the Beacon of Truth podcast. I am your host, Mrs. Aaron Willis. I was just stopping in for a brief moment. Obviously, I'm not even in my studio, don't have my equipment home, nothing, so y'all know I ain't about to be here for long. But I was just checking in with you guys. I know it's been a while since I did an episode. Um, it's just been like a lot going on, not necessarily personally. Everything's fine. Me and my husband, we still good, still loving the married life. But I'm not gonna go off on that tangent. Y'all know I love being married, and I love being married to my husband. And it was one of the best decisions I ever made, and that's all I'm gonna say about that. But last weekend was Independence Day, which felt a little weird this year. Of course, by now all of you know that the Supreme Court overturned Roe versus Wade, which legalized a woman's right to abortion, which is actually a healthcare issue. But it bothers me. It definitely bothers me. It almost relegates women to like second class citizens. But we did get the right to carry, like not just women, but just people in general. But I mean, I don't understand how you are pro life and not pro life at the same time. Because if that was the case, we would have abortion bans. I mean, not abortion bans, but assault rifle bans by now. Of course, on Independence Day, and I'm gonna tell you why I'm doing air quotes for Independence Day, and I'm gonna do it every time I talk about Independence Day because who really free? But anyways, on the 4th of July, there was a mass shooting using an assault rifle legally purchased in Highland Park, Illinois, just outside of Chicago. And prior to that, like I said, Roe versus Wade was overturned. And it just amazes me that five people, five people in the entire country have the right to make a decision for a right to be taken away from millions of people. And it just disturbs me. And not only for this issue, but the Supreme Court is now in the business of taking away individual rights. Where will it stop? What else will they overturn? Will we go back to separate but equal? Will they overturn the Marriage Equality Act and prevent same-sex marriages? Obviously, are they gonna reinstate the Loving case? Banning interracial marriages. Like, what is the mission? Where does it stop? And I just think that, like, okay, if five people can determine the rights of a nation of people, that's a little odd. It's weird. It's concerning. Of course, like, so if my husband and I created a child and decided that we were not in a position to give it the type of life that it deserves, we don't have the right between the two of us to make that decision. That's up to the government. Why is that okay? And you don't even have to be necessarily pro-abortion, because I personally don't think anyway that I would have an abortion. However, I feel that it's a person's or a couple's individual decision. It's their right to make that decision. It's not something that should be forced upon them, especially when we're not doing anything to backstop the consequences. Meaning, okay, so let's talk about what does it mean for Roe versus Wade to be overturned. It just means that, the right to abortion is no longer codified in law. It is pushed back to the states, majority of which I wouldn't even say majority, but a lot of states already had trigger bans in place in case Roe versus Wade was ever overturned, that these laws would then go into place, banning abortion. And a lot of places are actually banning abortions, like with no exceptions. No exceptions for rape, incest, or, anything like that. And I just don't understand how it's okay, how anybody is okay. And it was definitely weird to see a nation celebrating Independence Day in a country that has basically told you that, you are dependent on them to decide what's best for you and your family. I don't understand it. It doesn't make sense. It blows my mind. And, we don't have to get into the details of abortions. If you are against abortions, that's fine. If you are pro-choice anyway, because I don't think that anybody's really in favor of abortions unless you're in current need of one. But that's fine. But I don't think that we should be held to 5 individuals' personal beliefs for our personal lives. Because at what point are you going to start dictating what religion we can practice, or that we have to practice a religion? Like, how far back are we going to go with this thing? And it took me a long time to really process that it's real. I really expected at some point that it would be overturned, challenged, or something like that, but it was overturned by the highest court in the land. So where are you going with this? And a lot of abortion clinics are closing and things like that. But here's the other thing. So, okay, if you're basically going to ban abortion, are you now going to ramp up support for that life after birth? Because to me, I don't think that, these pro-lifers are really pro-life. I think they are pro-birth. And then once you give birth, it's on you. If you can't afford it, not their problem. If it's a struggle for you, or if they are born with challenges that you saw coming but you were not in a position to terminate that pregnancy prior to that child being born, you got to deal with that. There's no support for that. And I'm not even talking about the food stamp and WIC program, which also needs to now be bolstered. But also a lot of people don't understand this is not just a women's issue. This is everybody's issue, because it takes a man and a woman to create that life that y'all claim to be so pro, I care about life people. Like, okay, what life? And what kind of life? How about instead of being pro-life, you be pro-healthy life, pro-good life, anti-struggle life? How about that? But again, so here's how it impacts men. Like I said, prime example, if my husband and I created a child and we're not prepared for it, it's out of our control. We would be forced to have that child, or I would have to travel miles and miles away to terminate it. And Georgia is one of the places that has the quote unquote heartbeat bill, which is bans abortion after 6 weeks. That's a short window. 6 weeks is not that long to figure out that you're pregnant. Majority of the people or women that know that they're pregnant within 6 weeks are people that are trying to get pregnant. But if you are accidentally impregnated, it's generally right at 6 weeks or after that you realize it. And by then, at least in this state and a lot of states, it would be too late. But those are just my thoughts, and that was what was on my mind. But I just have not really been in a place to come on here and be like, hey guys, let's have a great show. Let's talk about some good things, because baby, it's hard. It's hard out here. Gas prices still high, inflation still high. Supply chain, we still having supply chain issues, which a lot of y'all don't really recognize or realize that. But I work for a distribution company, so I'm fully daily impacted by those issues. But that's pretty much all I got, y'all. But I don't know what's next. I don't know where we go from here. But nevertheless, as always, guys, thank you for your time, and we'll see you soon. I am your host, Miss Erin Willis, and this is the Beacon of Truth podcast.